All right, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis, and today we're going to be talking about Fille in Aiguilles from the house of Serge Lutens. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts and opinions on this fragrance, then let's go. All right, guys, so before we jump into this video, this is actually going to be my second time recording this video because the frustration. I realized that halfway through recording the video the first time that my mic completely cut out. So when I was in the editing process, I realized that. So we are going to record this video again. And I'm gonna do this with a smile on my face. I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna think positive. But we're gonna try to get through this again. So anyways, I need happy thoughts. Okay, here we go. So round two. All right, so here is my bottle of Fille in Aiguilles by Serge Lutens. And I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of this. So Carlito, my man, if you're watching, how do I pronounce this properly? But yeah, this is actually the only fragrance that I have from Serge Lutens. But you know, I am quite familiar with the brand. I have smelled quite a few of their fragrances, but this is actually my first purchase from the brand. And pleasantly, you know, I know of a few places that you can get Serge Lutens here in Tokyo, Japan, but I wasn't aware of like a boutique, an official Serge Lutens boutique until just recently. I was doing some searching online and I found out that they actually do have a Serge Lutens boutique in Tokyo located in Ginza at the Shiseido store. So I ventured out to Tokyo, to Ginza, and I went to the Shiseido store, and they have the full line of Serge Lutens, with exception of those kind of, they almost kind of look like little hourglass, the clear kind of hourglass looking bottles that they keep some of their fragrances in. They just didn't have those, or maybe I just didn't come across them while I was there. But I went through and I sampled a bunch of the fragrances, and I was really, really drawn to Fille in Aiguilles. So, but before I talk about like why I was drawn to this fragrance, let me talk about the presentation first. So, I think this fragrance actually used to come in a different bottle, and then it may have come in one of the hourglass bottles, or it may have come in one of the other bottle designs that they have, but they moved it over to this line. Now, I don't like this bottle design, and I'll tell you why. Number one, the cap is plastic, it feels very cheap. It fits on quite snugly, which is nice, but for the amount that you're paying for a fragrance like this retail, it is quite expensive. It's about $350 US retail. So it is quite expensive. So, you know, if you are paying that much, those kind of premium prices for a fragrance, you would expect a little bit more. And this plastic, it just does not fit with the price that they're asking. But it, you know, it does fit on quite snug. I mean, you could hold it like this, jiggle it, it's not gonna come off. But the reason for me why I don't like this kind of sleek, very thin and tall bottle design is because, like I've, you know, said to you guys, or I've mentioned to you guys many times before, is I keep all of my fragrances in these chilled kind of powered wine coolers. And so inside the wine cooler, I have different kind of levels. And so this is so tall. So I have kind of, they're like shelves. So this won't fit in the shelf. So it's too tall to fit. So I need to figure out a way to get this to fit in there, whether I have to lay this down, which I don't want to do, or figure out something else, which I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. But for me personally, yeah, I don't like the height of this bottle design. I would like something a bit more compact, slightly more wider. But yeah, so for personal reasons, yeah, just don't really care for the bottle design. Let's go ahead and look at the sprayer on this. So I'll take this off. I am gonna spray it here on my left hand. So here we go. The sprayers are pretty good. The sprayers put out, it's not a pressurized sprayer, but it does put out quite a bit of juice. Man, okay. This is heavenly in the air. Basically what you get here, I mean, this is a very green, resinous, kind of piney, incensey, smoky, kind of slightly sweet and spicy fragrance. The smell of this is just intoxicating. And so for me, that's why I was drawn to this fragrance. You know, when I had gone to the Serge Lutens boutique, I had no intentions of actually buying this fragrance. I just kind of wanted to smell their line of fragrances and see if there were any that I was really drawn to. And actually there were two that I was really drawn to. And after I purchased this one, I received a few samples. So I'm looking forward to going through those samples, and I'll do a first impression kind of review of those samples that I received in a later video. But man, this fragrance I was drawn to immediately. And then once I put this one on skin, man, I was like, this is amazing. But yeah, where this fragrance puts me is, this is a fragrance first and foremost. This is a fragrance for fall and winter. This is a cold weather fragrance. It almost kind of puts me in like the holiday mindset. The pininess of this fragrance, and pine is interesting because I feel like a lot of times when you come across pine fragrances, it can almost come across as like a cleaning product in a way, but this fragrance does not. It's such a nice balance. But my image of this is, if I am in the forest somewhere, in the fall or winter, there might be a bit of snow on the ground, surrounded by pine trees. I'm having a picnic outside, you know, with some almost like dessert-like fruits, and there's a campfire that's burning, and that's where I'm kind of getting the smokiness from. All of those aromas combined is the vibe that I get here. Again, I don't really have another fragrance that's quite like this in my collection. Again, the pine note comes off quite prominently from initial spray. So there is that kind of green coniferous vibe that you'll definitely get from this. And there is a slight like underlying smokiness that you get. Now, I would say as this fragrance starts to dry down, that smokiness becomes a bit more prominent, but it stays tucked behind those kind of that pine needle vibe that you get here. So the smokiness does not dominate, but it's just very subtly tucked away in here. But you get that pine and kind of like incense definitely up top here. And I would say for the most part, that's kind of what dominates the majority of this fragrance. But and I don't want to say like dominating in the sense that that's all you get, because you do get this fragrance is quite spicy and, you know, woody, and you do get kind of a slight sweetness in here, like I guess some kind of ambery notes, and that dried fruit accord definitely pushes forward. So that's providing that subtle sweetness, and I feel like it works so well with that smoky kind of piney vibe that you get in here. It just kind of balances everything out. Man, but this is one of those fragrances that's quite transportive for me. Like it gives you an image, and I feel like not all fragrances do that, right? This is a kind of fragrance that can take me on a journey. It can put me in a certain place in time. Kind of like I said, like maybe a holiday season around Christmas, kind of, with family. Like, this is a cozy and warm scent. Like, this is a feel-good fragrance for me. But this is one of those fragrances that fits perfectly out in nature. I do have a few other fragrances in my collection that I kind of consider like nature fragrances. One that I speak about often is Eucalyptus 20 by Le Labo. That's one of those fragrances that is built for being outside, outdoors, like in the forest. These types of fragrances I love. Fragrances that can kind of put me, with nature. That's what I really love about this. Now, a criticism that I have about this, and as expected, I think this fragrance was originally released in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. So, with fragrances that were released that long ago, obviously they're going to go through reformulations, right? So I've never smelled an older version of this, so this is all I have to go by, and thankfully this is all I have to go by. But what I have heard in the past was that this fragrance used to perform a lot better. For me, kind of touching, what I have heard as well is that it used to be a bit more ambery. Used to get a bit more of that ambery kind of sweetness here, a bit more deep. But I don't know. Like, I definitely get like an underlying kind of ambery sweetness from this. It's not too heavy or dense, I would say. I would say that the fragrance profile does have like a dense kind of thickness to it. But it also kind of has a very light, and this fragrance is very aromatic as well. But this fragrance does have a lightness. So I feel like for me, this formulation is a nice balance between the light and the dark. The light and the denseness. I feel like it kind of meets in the middle. So, but okay, I do understand that for the price that you're paying, the criticisms that could come in relation to performance with this one. So for me, on my skin, if you're looking at longevity, I'm getting anywhere from 5 to 6 hours of longevity. So yeah, I know for a lot of people, and again, this is just my wearing experience. Yours may be different, but I'm only speaking about my experience. I get about 5 to 6 hours, maybe 7 at times, but I feel like that's kind of pushing it a little bit. This fragrance does start to settle and start to sit in fairly closely, I would say, around the hour mark. So this is a fragrance that I feel like for me, whenever I choose to wear this one, and I haven't given this a lot of wearings. I've been wearing this one in the evenings because we're in the summertime now. It's very hot. It just would not go well in the summertime, especially in this humid environment. So I've been wearing it at nights. And so that's where I've been kind of in air conditioning. That's where I've been kind of gauging this. I do feel like, once you are kind of wearing this out a little bit, your body heat is warming up, it will probably push out a bit more, but that's yet to be seen. I haven't, done that. I have not worn this fragrance out, so I can't necessarily speak to that 100%. But yeah, I get about 5 to 6 hours. So this is a fragrance for me that when I wear, I'm gonna have to decant this one out. Bring the little travel sprayer with me and reapply throughout the day. And I have only sprayed this one on skin. I haven't sprayed it on clothes. So I'm not sure if that changes the longevity slightly. I figure it probably will. But yeah, on skin, it's about 5 to 6 hours, maybe 7. It kind of depends. But that's kind of the wearing experience inside only under air conditioning. So, you may have a different wearing experience outside. But pushing that aside, like if I'm thinking about scent profile only, man, I love this scent profile. I can kind of, make exceptions with the performance a little bit. And, actually, to be honest, like 5 to 6 hours isn't so bad. 6 hours isn't bad for me. That's decent for me. Usually I'm not out for any longer than that anyway. So that it actually kind of works for me. But you know, if I was going to be out longer, I would just bring a little travel spray with me, decant it, put it in travel spray. But scent profile is absolutely amazing. And I do know that this fragrance was perfumed by Christopher Sheldrake, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too familiar with his work, so I'll have to kind of see what other fragrances he's put together, or if he's created any other fragrances for Serge Lutens. I'm not 100% sure, but man, I'm in love with this scent profile. It is right down my alley, and especially, again, with fall and winter rolling up, this just gives you fall and winter vibes to the max, holiday vibes. This is one of those fragrances. So yeah, overall, I'm quite happy with the fragrance. Not a big fan of the presentation or the bottle design, but that's just me, and I'm trying to cater this bottle's design to my own needs and how I store my fragrances, but you may actually really love this. It is quite chic and slick. It's a slick design for sure. But yeah, but overall, I would say in general, the scent profile is amazing. I love it, and yeah, quite happy with the purchase. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Fille and Aiguilles by Serge Lutens. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And let me know down in the comments section, have you tried anything from the house of Serge Lutens? What are some of your favorites? Well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.